Hello, one and all, and welcome to the stream. My name is Big Rich X. The X marks the spot. My commentary is the treasure, but you don't need to map to find it because you're already here. I am joined by the hilarious, the absolutely hysterical Hyperactive in the booth today. And Hyper apparently doesn't know what went down in 1776, chat.
Oh no, we're not starting
Could
this
we please
again.
remind him what happened in 1776? Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
Declared that independence all day. Anyways, we got a banger of a matchup here tonight with Nothing But Gunny versus OleFam here in the ZGL. How are we faring tonight, Hyper?
Kind of feeling a little roasted. Kind of feel a little embarrassed. I didn't know the Declaration of Independence was in the 1700s, but that does come from a guy whose country did colonize a lot of the place. But that's a different story entirely.
Yes, it is.
Nonetheless, I'm looking forward to the series. Of course, OleFam back in the booth, a team that I've worked with quite often, so I know their strengths, I know their weaknesses, and I tell you what, this map pool that they're going into is something but a hit and a miss. You know, starting off with that 6-star is going to be their kind of bread and butter. That invasion, can be very questionable, and a Karachi in there is also not feeling too good.
No, not particularly. And we rotate back to Vista and 6-star to round it out. Should we go to the pinnacle of a game 4 and game 5 when it does get to that much more heated moments in those kinds of situations? But either way, this is going to be my first time casting for both of these teams, if I'm not mistaken. And I've been on vacation a bit, folks. I have not been as devoted as I should have been to the scene, but now I am back. I am here. I am ready for the grind. Once October reaches its conclusion, we have a brand new Call of Duty on the way, but we still got a little bit of MW3 to enjoy. I was running a bit of it today myself. It still has its merits, but the shotgun meta on this the smaller maps that we have and that I fear may take over Black Ops 6 is still ever present in MW3. Luckily, we got no shotguns here. It's all ARs, all subs. It's going to be a good time. I am looking forward to seeing these two teams duke it out.
Yeah,
Started off on hardpoint. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one, Hyper.
It's going to be a fun one indeed. And on the Black Ops 6 side of things, I hope they bring back snipers. I know it's a very controversial, especially in competitive esports side of things. Snipers for me in that MW2 series, I loved it. I loved when you had a snipe come in. It just got that crowd rallied up. It's the way what you need, and it's something I'm gonna back to the day I die. Just keep snipers in. We know it's not gonna get used in rotation. It's gonna get used in S&D. They're great fun. I love it. Let's have more of it. But nonetheless, let's. I want to quickly break down, of course, these two teams. Now, of course,
Yes.
I said OleFam. I know like the back of my hand. I have done so much work with them, and I'm very grateful to be able to do it. But this opposition that we have, this is where the questions start to lie. We don't know what Mansion's like. We don't know what Reaper's like, and I'm still waiting on the final guy to join the lobby, so I don't know who the hell he is as well. But the fact they're in this position, the semi-finals, lose a round, means that they're coming with a fight. And they're coming in with some strength here. So I'm gonna bode the question, and I'm gonna put the question to you, Rich. What are we looking score-wise?
What I'm feeling score-wise, and just I'm sticking with my gut here, is I'm feeling OleFam a bit, and I'm thinking they're gonna take it 3-1. I don't see this game going to a game 5 just because it is loser semis. Typically, we do not see that in a loser semis. But at the end of the day, you never know. But I'm sticking with OleFam. That's what my gut's telling me right now. That's the better in me, but that's probably why I don't use FanDuel anymore. I've lost too much money betting on the wrong team. So don't take my word for it, folks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's also the caster's curse as well. We're gonna say one
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
it's gonna turn into something different. But you know what? I'm not in, to be clear, not in contract. I am not obliged to say OleFam, but I honestly do believe OleFam might have it. The only problems I'm going to say is that invasion, search and destroy, is their weakest map. And guess
Yeah,
what?
I remember you saying that.
It was the one that they couldn't ban. They didn't ban. They actually banned Rio search and destroy, and then they walked out and left themselves in a situation where invasion was put in place. And I know from experience they don't cope well with distance. When you get them on the CQB, you put them into 6R S&D, which is a map 5, that's where they start to come alive. That's when you start to see that search and destroy problem be negated. But right now, when you come to rotation, 6-star and Vista, that's their strength. This is where we should be seeing the OleFam squad take some leads here. If they can get the 6-star in place, if they can lock that down, they're good for the next 2 rounds. Then they could go to Vista, get it sorted there, and they could push themselves to a map 5. So I'm going to go 3-2. I think it's 3-2. We're going to get a map 5, and I think it's OleFam.
Well, we both pick an OleFam with different outcomes. Hopefully, we do not end in a draw right at the outset of the matchup as we get loaded into 6-star for the second time. I'm very much appreciative to the devs for adding some more brightly lit, brightly colored maps. We deal with a lot of, beiges, browns, and sort of dull coloring, but now we get bright palm trees, the pastels. I just want to sit by the pool and sip on a Mai Tai, but there's no time to relax. We're getting into it. OleFam versus Nothing But Gunny as we get things off to the hot start. Millie gonna be the first to grab points, but it's Roscoe for the first blood. Hyper.
Absolutely, and of course the Bloodbath will endure into that center, but the main focus for all these guys, and I sound like a broken record with anybody who knows me, P2 up to that north right side of the map, which is where number 2 of Rasco is currently hovering in front of. That's the control that you really need to be looking at, and Rasco is doing the exact job he needs to make sure that that Nothing But Gunny gets close to.
Exactly. I saw a little 2-piece. Nothing But Gunny able to grab a few points off this P1, but it's really been OleFam's control thus far. Marco able to get back on it, achieve a bit more scrap this time around, but goes down to Deadly, the double Deadly. Taking him down as Mansions is able to pick up one in the trade, but Nothing But Gunny getting a solid 3-piece for the rotation. They are set up well on P2, but can OleFam break them?
Yeah, absolutely. And just a little heads up for the viewers who have realized OleFam's actually on the white team. That whole roster is, the scorecards are flipped. We will get that sorted for you for next round, but nonetheless, it's still going to be OleFam holding this point, holding down. Millie jumps in, finds one, find a second as well. Oh, that's a great entry and a great break. They need to hold, they need to get the reinforcements in, but OleFam just had players around the outside. They had people waiting for any pressure that Nothing But Gunny pushed. OleFam holding well.
And doing a solid job. And again, apologies for the mix-up. It's been at least a minute for me, so I might be a little rusty. So if I mix up the teams continuously, once again, I apologize in advance. 5 streak for Marksies, though. Marskies, unfortunately, going down in the pool. That is that Observer Curse coming in at their behest, unfortunately, as looks like OleFam is taking the lead here. They're struggling in the early goings. Dexter trying to get the 2-piece and got it on the peak. That is some impressive head glitching if I've ever seen it, Hyper.
It definitely is, and having that control down by Piano, down by the curve, is denied the chances for Gunny to go and use that route. They do not have any way of getting in. Now they've got to go head on. They've got to go against Dexterities, who's locked it down for a while. I don't think that was a 6-piece to get the cruise in the back pocket. But still, this, as I said from the start, this is their map. This is OleFam's map, and they're looking good. 66-30, and they continue to keep things going.
Very, very solid jobs thus far. If you can get yourself to that 60-point break where you're up by a full hill, it gives you definitely a lot of breathing room to move around and be a bit more mobile while you have your hill kit and sit back and lock down. Because you just have that availability of just some leeway in your lead. Now, never take a lead for granted in this game, but as OleFam takes that 60-point lead, they're looking very, very comfortable. Marski's on another tear. Roscoe on the 3 streak, Deadly on the 1, and OleFam is getting it done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see if Marxies can get that cruise missile currently sitting inside the office. Here comes one. He's get one. That's all he needs. Thank you very much. Cruise missile back foster kit, and OleFam feeling confident, and the attempted break just can't happen. No matter what Gunny chucks in, no matter what they throw, OleFam keep it secured and locked, and now with a full wipe of all of Gunny off, they now can focus their attention to the right side, and OleFam have the upper hand here, and they can just focus all the attention and make sure that nothing happens to them.
Really incredible stuff. Deadly had that trophy system come in at the last second and save them from a lot of nade spam. And again, Deadly popping off on the 5 streak before going down, unfortunately, but it's Deadly and Marski's popping off. Roscoe on a 3.0 KD as well. Dex is breaking even, but at this point, you're chilling. You're at a 100-point lead. You give you give Nothing But Gunny a little bit of that scrap, but right back to it on the rotation to P1, and they are cooking with gas, to say the least, Hyper.
Finally, something from Nothing But Gunny, and it seems like they found possession, but that's all they have. Not necessarily good control, because right now they're quite far forward. They've allowed that north side of the map to be completely open, and what happens? Dexterity is going to start to creep deeper and deeper into their spawns. He's going to start to force that spawn flip to happen, and this is where the rest of the team plays that distraction play. They've gained control, and now they've gained the north side of the map. So they're already thinking one step ahead. They're ready for P2, and I would love to hear what these guys were talking about.
Absolutely. Just an incredible game thus far.
North control. Look at Nothing But Gunny. They're able to actually win that rotation. I know I gave praise to OleFam for having that north control, having that presence on the upper side of the map. But Gunny were able to keep hold of their spawns, and now they have an opportunity to really close down this gap. They need to find themselves out of that 100-point club. And Rich, I know you're a big player yourself. The 100-point club sucks to be in, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty dog water. I've been in that club a time or two, and it's not really all that great, and I usually get kicked out of it one way or another, out of my own rage or just my own stupidity. But OleFam locking in thus far, but Nothing But Gunny making a bit of a comeback here. They're still down by a significant chunk of pointage, but there's still potential here. It ain't over until the last bullet is fired, until the last point is made, until the last body drops. This game still in anybody's hands, and Nothing But Gunny has made a huge comeback on this P2, to say the least.
It was a good transition as well. From P1 to P2, Nothing But Gunny just had that rotation that worked well, but it's now trying to make that rotation from the right to the left. That's always when it's a lot harder, and you can already see OleFam are locked. They put themselves in great positions, but their little opening, Replay able to find one, opening the doors up just a tiny bit, but immediately the door slammed closed immediately as Dexterity says, no. You don't step on my point. This is all mine to take.
Yeah, Dex here just trying to protect this little cutout. It's one of the only ways you can really get into this point safely and contest without immediately being fired upon. So trying to break through on there is going to be Gunny's main push. As they try to rotate to the stairs as well, they immediately get picked up by Dex, who's just bobbing and dodging and dipping and diving and trying to find a way to stay alive, but unfortunately going down. Mansions out in Wisconsin's unfortunately taken over as Gunny trying to keep this one close, but still down by about 70 right now.
It's a race. It's a complete race right now to get to P4, and you can see both sides trying to get to the statue, trying to get to the center, but it's Dexterity's finding two, says thank you very much. We're taking P4 for ourselves. And it's no surprise, OleFam sacrificed the remaining of P3 to get that early advantage. Because look how far forward they are. They're pressing into the spawns of Nothing But Gunny, and they are keeping the pressure up. And I'm loving this hard point. I'm loving the way that they're confidence. But Millie, a good entry, a good break. Can he continue to keep this going? There's a second for his name. There's the third, and that's the break that Nothing But Gunny needs. Hello. That's crucial and critical.
Absolutely. The Eminem connection. I'll take mine with peanuts, please. Million Mansions locking down the point as Reaper protects as well. Dex now trying to pop off once again from the outside. Deadly grabbing one. Dex, another. Roscoe clearing house. My goodness. Dexter is just doing a really phenomenal job kill leading this lobby at 26 and 15. Has close to a minute hill time. Roscoe's the hill kid in a minute 40, but a really, really solid job from OleFam here as they once again push close to that 100-point lead. We're back to P1. What I love about 6 Star so much is the 4-point hill rotation. It is the first time that's ever happened, at least to my knowledge, in a Call of Duty where it's 4 instead of 5. So it just makes it feel a lot more fast-paced, a lot more in your face as Nothing But Gunny and BG trying to stay alive in this one. OleFam just wanting to put it away.
Yeah, and OleFam wants it done and dusted, and right now they are claiming point. They cannot win it here. There is still too much time and too much of a gap, so realistically they want to claim as much as they can on P1 and look for P2, which is exactly what Rasco's doing. He's number 2 on the minimap. already rotated and the spawns have been flipped, and this is a disaster if you're nothing but Gunny, because that P2 site could be claimed and it could be finished on P2. And if you are Gunny, oh my, you've got to make some breaks and you've got to come out with a bang.
Yeah, on that left flank especially, trying to protect, and amazingly enough, NBG able to get onto the hill, at least for a moment. Mars is there, but it's Reaper taking some souls to the underworld to disrupt it. But again, Dex popping off a big two-piece, giving their team some breathing room. Roscoe trying to stay alive, and another double. Just like that, OleFam locking in on the hill. And number 8, Marco trying to get close, free-firing and getting something. But it is all but over here. 8 seconds is all OleFam needs.
8 seconds, now it's down to 6 seconds, and you can see Nothing But Gunny trying to keep themselves alive for the remaining amount of time, but it's not going to be anything, not going to be enough. OleFam take map 1, and I told you that if they can win on this hard point, they could be set for the rest of the series.
Yeah, that was a very, very confident, dominant win. You win by 80 points even, a very comfortable lead. You were up by almost over 100 at some points in the matchup, and a really valiant effort from NBG, but sadly just wasn't enough. The combined efforts of Dex and Marskies dropping 32 and 27 kills respectively, with both dropping 59 seconds or more hill time. My memory serves me right, is just absolutely dominant. Just an incredible opening round, and happy to be back in the booth, and thank you, Hyper, for being in the booth with me.
Aw, save it to the end. Wait to the end. You'll hate.
All right, I'll shut up. I'll stop hyping the praises from across the pond. Apologies. Go ahead. Post match recap. What'd you think?
Ooh, so this is where I wanted to break things down a little bit more. I want to actually give compliments to the Nothing But Gunny side, but particularly Millie. Millie, as you can see on the screen above you, going 26 and 23 with 1 minute 42 hill time. That man carried his team. He brought Nothing But Gunny into this fight, and he kept them alive, which then posed the question, was this just an off game for Nothing But Gunny? Was this the kind of case where things just weren't lining up? Because Millie was the one that was breaking these points, pushing onto site solo at times, and making things work. So an absolute star-studded player from the get-go. Or, and this is the big flip that I can see, or are they just not as well tuned with a close quarters map? And then when we go to something like Invasion, where they come alive, that's my point of view, but I still feel they're going to struggle going into this next round. I feel with Millie being the only strong player at this point, the other 3 need to step up.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And you look at just the KD alone from OleFam, everyone going positive, everyone with close to a minute hill time, playing objective, getting kills, playing the game how it's supposed to be played. And then, unfortunately, Nothing But Gunny had everything but Gunnies, apparently. People, barely getting above double-digit kills. Marco sadly dropping to 12 and 31, a 14 and 26, and an 18 and 24. I'm sorry, but Millie played phenomenally. But when you see Roscoe, the second on the list for OleFam, dropping pretty much the same, if not better, KD and more hill time, you can't beat that. I mean, they're just unequivocally, for shot for shot, player for player, OleFam was the better team.
Oh, agreed. And even when you have, say, the one that isn't giving you the most hill time, and that would be Marskies, he still came out, was able to get those frags in the right places, the right time. We saw his name throw up in the feed multiple times with double kills, triple kills, all in the place they needed. So a key playmaker, I would say, Marskies are. But individually, that's quite evenly spread between the entire team. But as I mentioned, this is a map that they are confident on. They know and have well oiled themselves to being on hardpoint 6-star. So I'm not surprised the way this map turned out.
Well oiled on 6-star is a wild, wild line to say. Just saying. Out of context. A 6-star resort map, you're all oiled up, sitting by the pool, getting some sun. All right, fair enough. A well-oiled machine. You heard it here first, folks. As we get ready for my bread, my butter, my sugar, my cream, my everything when it comes to casting, it's Search and Destroy. It's a cornerstone
Mm.
of the competitive Call of Duty scene. And
Ooh.
I know you were hyping up just how poorly OleFam plays in the Search and Destroy. Is that correct? Especially on
Mm.
Invasion after their, quite frankly, dominant performance in the hardpoint. I think they're going to do a little better than you're giving them credit for, Hyper.
I think yeah, they're gonna have do a little bit better with the competitors shown against them. But however, and this is the big however, we've seen
Mm-hmm.
scorelines that have looked like the map before, and then next thing you know, the Nothing But Gunny side could massively and miraculously come back and produce something that's unbelievable. The CDLs produced
Mm-hmm.
this, God knows how many times. Look at Seattle Surge. The amount of times they looked terrible and down in the dumps, and next thing you know, the Esports World Cup they go for a little run themselves. During the
Mm-hmm.
final championship, they go for a run themselves. Or take LAT, which rocking the shirts and all.
Mm-hmm.
Their run and increase battle all the way through, and especially running second for the EWC. There's no way I'm gonna rule out team just yet because, as you said, is not done till the final shot is made, and that
Indeed.
is so true. Because Nothing But Gunny could be a well-oiled S&D team, and this is why they've won it 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. It could be that case. I'll double check. But you don't know until you check,
Nope.
right? And I think the Search
Exactly.
and Destroy could be closer than we think, and I would even go as far as round 10 we're getting to. I don't think round 11.
Round 10. Okay. Round 10 for a loser's semis first match of the night. I like it. It's bold, it's brash, but it does not belong in the trash. It is a solid take. As we get ready to load up Invasion, Search and Destroy. The reason I love Search and Destroy, folks, let me just break it down real quick, is just it usually offers at least a lot more uniqueness, I think, than
Mm.
respawn modes. Every single round is different. You may push the same way, you may take out the same player once or twice, but every round feels unique and different. I see so many repeated moments in respawn modes. It's like, oh, you push that same angle, you go down, so on and so forth. But Search and Destroy offers a much slower paced game mode usually, where you get to really sort of get in the mind of a player and see how they're processing this game. What are they going to do, especially in 1v2s or 1v3 situations? Oftentimes you see it go the way of the ladder, but when you see a 1v3 clutch in a professional setting, especially in a tournament, it just gets your blood pumping like it's nobody's business.
Oh, I agree 1,000%. And I think Invasion adds to that as well because it's a style of map where utility is the most is realistically
Mm-hmm.
the backbone of how you win this map. Is that placement where you're dropping the smoke if we're running smokes on ZGL, or
Mm,
where we're dropping those flashes or stuns. It's
exactly.
all about the precision of where you're landing your utility. And as my good friend Scav would say, this is a map where you play
Yes.
chess. You've got to be thinking 3 steps ahead to understand and counter whatever your opponent's doing. So if you're not thinking like
Mm.
that, it's not gonna go your way. But I'm with you. I love Search and Destroy. I know
Yes.
it's controversial because people find it so annoying on the competitive level, but
I
it's the
love it.
core stone. Look at
Yep.
every other game that we play. There is a mode like this. It is
Mm-hmm.
so good.
Well, I love it. I love it, and I always will, always have. And I don't know what the future has in store for Call of Duty, but Search and Destroy should and forever always should be a part of it. Now, where was I with these two teams going at it? We saw a bunch of, clutch moments from Millie and Dex, Marskis, a few pop off moments. Like I was saying earlier, a 1v3 does not hit the same in hardpoint as it does in Search and Destroy. It just has such a bigger impact on a round win. Granted, a three piece is still a pretty big deal, but it just doesn't hit the same. If that makes sense, if I'm sounding crazy, I apologize, chat, but that's just me.
Crazy. I was crazy once. Stuck in a room. A rubber
A
room.
rubber room, a rubber
Rubber
room
room
with
full of
rats.
rats.
But before we get
Rats
into
made me
that cycle,
crazy.
we got to get into the game, man. We got to stay focused, locked in, just like these players are. This is loser semis, like you're saying. This last chance. You
Mm,
lose here, you're out. You don't get to go to grand finals. You don't get a chance at redemption. It's all over
absolutely. And that this is
before
where
we
the
get too
pressure.
crazy.
Exactly. that mindset does run through your head, and realistically, player, you need to be able to think clearly, be able to remove the pressure and just take and throw it down to the side. Because as soon as you start thinking, shit, this is my final chance. Sorry about my language. This is my final chance.
I
Then
declare.
yes, it's gonna kind of impact the way you play. You're not gonna play the way you want. So you just have to go in and be like, it's a normal scrim, and that's the relaxation and mindset you need to have going forward.
Well, yeah, it's the 1-0 mentality, or the 0-1 mentality, is taking it one game, one round, one moment at a time. You're not, if you make a mistake or you lose a game, it's on to the next one. You don't let that consume any of your thought, any of your processing power. You focus on the next game, next round, the next shot entirely. And trying to do that, at least from my perspective as just a pubs player, can be tough, because just you get inside your own head and you are your own worst enemy, especially in a high stakes, high pressure situation such as a loser semis. And being down, 0-1, Nothing But Gunny, like you said, they do have the advantage here, I think, based on your insight in the search and destroy on this map in particular. But I really think the momentum and the just pure gun skills is on the side of OleFam, just based on the KD alone. Like, it's just such a disparage between both of the teams when all was said and done after the fact.
Well, yes, gunplay is going to be a huge factor on a larger map. Engage more on those, going to pop a lot more. But realistically, I think it depends on the area of control. If we get some good mid control, if you get some good river control as well, which is going to be a big make and control river, you have good sight lines up to A. If you're able to control mid, your options become open. Because this is, and I like to describe it as a 3-lane map, except the bomb is just slightly offset on one of them. So you have your 2 outer lanes and your mid. If you can control that mid lane, you have that control to go left or right. And we will see this. We'll see people go at the P1 tank. They're going to go and try and fight for Dark Alley down in the courtyard. Yes, it's exposed. Yes, there's so much room that you can look at. But as long as you can be able to fight in those areas and gain that control, your options are unlimited from there.
Yeah, exactly. Map control is huge, and having that presence, that awareness to be able to give callouts, to do damage, to just frankly own the map, it allows you to be a bit more comfortable. Like, if you know where your team is at, and understanding that map awareness and map control and syncing them up is absolutely a critical skill that these players should have by now. And I'm still giving the edge to OleFam. I think that Nothing But Gunny is going to be able to grab at least one map throughout this series, but I do not see them taking the win here, if I'm being honest. I will be the doubter. I will be the devil on their shoulder. They have got to step up, and they got to do it now, because being down 2-0 in a best of 5 is not a place you want to be.
Well, it's a bold prediction, Rich. It is a bold prediction. But while we have a little technical pause, we're going to quickly hop through this to a break. Put your predictions in the chat. Do you agree with Rich? Do you agree with your own prediction? Chuck them in there. I want to see it. I want to know. So stay tuned, as we will be back.
Look here, Salty might be able to find somebody. Not a Sterling, folks. The double chow. Oh, they knew. And here's Astral looking for that reflex with a kill. 4v3 battle. Reflex is close. Playing that broken. He's going to go top broken, but will Storm realize it? As Mike able to take out Tier. Oh my goodness, and kills gets out from Mike as well. And now Storm goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, match point all around the scoreboard, day by day, finding some serious momentum, and we couldn't even switch to Mike at all, as Gil able to take out 1, Mike able to take out 2, and oh my goodness, a 5-5 game. Who's gonna get defend? The second tick has started. The first tick is finished. Really want to get the comms for Elite Warfare Gaming, as this game looks to almost be wrapped up, as you hear a cruise missile 14 and 13 destroyer able to take out 2 dead. We gotta get the comms, so here we go. Elite Warfare Gaming blue.
I'm watching your blue. I'm watching your blue.
I don't know where he went. What's up?
I'm pushing up now. I'm pushing up now.
Breeze so dead. Breeze so dead. Watch your front. Oh, everything front. I'm popping.
We got time. Watch out, you now.
Popping strings.
Still dead.
All coming. Gas. All gas. All gas.
Ready.
One gas. They're coming up spawns. GG's.
That's it, baby. That's it. That's it. Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the comms for Elite Warfare Gaming Blue as they complete the victory and control invasion 3-0. Not only that, complete the here. Legends of Six not able to win it out on P2, but they only need 10 seconds. So if you're day by day, how exactly are you going to be able to hold this the best you can? The last the last two rotations of P3, I should say, have definitely gone to LO6 with the contested back and forth. One dead already. Tier looking for another kill. Good shot there from Reflex. That's huge. That's a 3-2 trade. Oh my goodness, that is huge for day by day, as now you're just eating, soaking up this P3 hill with about 22 seconds left. You have a good shot at finishing it right here, but now a 2 dead in favor, and then Sad with a huge kill. They're looking for the third down. He goes. 10 seconds remaining, but only 5 seconds to finish this game. Day by day, oh my goodness, back from the dead, and they're going to take a early map 1. Fella, Mirage still here. Shout out by 2, takes out 1, takes out the second, looking for the third. Oh my god, Mirage! My goodness, he wanted a 4th, but nobody was around right there. But Sharper trying to get away with his life. He is one shot, but kills, grabs a kill, and now it's a 1v2 situation. How the times have changed, but now it's a 2v2. Sharma, Sad, back and forth, a little 1-to-1 to 2v2 battle. Oh, he opts right on bomb. Sharma has absolutely no clue, but you gotta get a bomb check. But now look at it, Dill Pickle with the defuse bomb, and Sharma is probably in shambles right now. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the comms for for Legends of Six. My apologies, Legends of Six White. As you see, this scoreboard has opened up. Elite Warfare Gaming White, they actually set up for new quite well. They were here first, and they just got broken easily. I mean, you look. I mean, Elite Warfare Gaming is just not even shooting back at this point. You see Spalty right now at a 1-in-10 fight as Anora is on a 5 streak. He's 1 away from a cruise missile, and he's gonna get it right here. Raider, sit down, young fella. We're gonna need that cruise missile. With that being said, 13-6 for Anora as well. Able to find another, not able to grab another after that one. Up, folks. Snapsy at 30-20. Gonzi on a 5 streak right now, 246 and counting. Cruise missile is out. Blue, Synergy Blue all over. Nico not able to grab a body there, but Kodo working long. Gonzi also working that long as well. He's gonna get taken out. Cruise missile by Snapsy, able to take out 2. Kodo with the 3rd. Last guy's on time. Wins it out. Ladies and gentlemen, Elite Warfare Gaming Blue has everybody's or black spawning long as Nico able to take out 2 on long, and just like that, EWG Black is able to take down Synergy Blue. Oh my, if that didn't get hectic for you, you guys gotta let me know right now what was a better comeback between Elite Warfare Gaming White or Elite Warfare Gaming Black, because oh my gosh, everybody for that team turned up. There is the final score, 250-241. Ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn ready. 5 streak, 1 away from the cruise missile, 10-12, and Raider is in a funky position right here with everybody there. Anora looking for another. There is another 2-piece pocket rocket secured. Have a seat. Oh my god, Anora. Oh my goodness, what are we witnessing, folks? Because right now, Anora, he can't do no wrong, as Spalty finally able to end what was going on. 6-9 in lives, 10 seconds left. Tie Shield is the closest one to enemy line, has Iroh in front of him. Down goes Iroh. 6 seconds left. There's a body right there. There's an instant chow. There is a double stack. No trophy on the point. Second tick is complete. My apologies, folks. And right here, cruise missile not able to break it down. 3 seconds left. A big win by Sparky. Triple stack S&D lives, and oh my god. All I can think about is if you are a Nora, you would have to red. They're all here at new, and they are completely set up. Million's gonna be huge here. Oh, he gets taken out. I thought if he can get another kill, it'd be huge. And look at Juju, able to take out 1. You need a clean break. 8 seconds to go. Nobody's near. Trying to work long. There's only 2 people. They're gonna try to work through you. 2:30 and counting. 43 seconds left. Both teams can still win on new how to decide to play this. Llama goes down, instant trade, there to go, working you, 240 accounting, Juju playing his life. Vinny gets taken out by Abe. Abe with another kill. Cryptic with another as well. And 242 is evened up. Right back on time is Mirage. Contested on point. Able to take out Cryptic. Instant trade there. Millie looking for another. Millie with a two-piece. Mirage and Llama sit down. Contested on point. Hello. There's another. Juju and Abe. Another contested. Derek to go. Wins it out. Looking for another. Mirage. Mirage can't even get there in time. And Bad News Bears says, hey, you guys were close, but not close enough. A little bit of listening for the boys in pink day by day. Here we go, folks. Take a listen.
Front time, one shot. Kills. One more, outer. Storm, closet.
Top single. I would update it.
We gotta work new.
Yeah, I'm working here.
One's to the side.
There's two old.
I'm gonna push through junk. I'm gonna hit. Fuck me. I'm gonna hit a pinch.
Just play new.
Yeah, I'm hitting a pitch through new though. I'm behind one, I think.
Hello, welcome back. Had some little technical difficulties and monitor cams we needed to set up because, well, people will be people and players will be players, and sometimes you just got to have your assurances, and I understand it. But either way, we are getting things underway for a little search and destroy. My name is Bigger Checks, and I'm joined by Hyperactive. Hyper, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling good when a nade goes off and immediately finds a person, a poor little soul. Marxies was on the receiving end of that, and that's not a great start. And I tell you what, the start is not looking good if you're OleFam, and I might be eating my words somewhere. Or actually, no, you'd be eating your words.
Yes, I'm the one eating my words, as Nothing But Gunny dominates in round one with a flawless victory right there to start things off, looking clean, mean, and looking like some search and destroy machines right now, as you were stating earlier.
Yeah, that was smooth, and
Yep.
they stepped up to the plate exactly how they needed to, just to able to apply the pressure. The tempo is something I love talking about. Going fast, making sure that their presence was aggressively forward, and it just caught OleFam off guard. I don't think they expected that much aggression off the get-go, but now the sides flip. What do you do as OleFam? Do you copy, or do you take it at your own pace?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. And again, another environmental kill. Nade, Millie, taking down Roscoe. OleFam immediately at a disadvantage to start things off. And my goodness, I'm eating my words, and I sound about as useful as a soup sandwich right now. But Nothing But Gunny able to get an easy plant on Alpha as OleFam tries to get some map control back. They're kind of tucked away in the corner by Bravo here.
Not looking in good positions, but I tell you what, Deadly is going to get that information, finds the foot of Millie. Millie just peeking legs and biding his time. He's just wasting the OleFam's time, letting the clock run down, and that's exactly what they need to do. Don't push into positions you don't need to. Allow OleFam to come to you. 17 seconds left on the clock. You got to find something.
Yeah, solid shots from Deadly here. Trying to rotate in, find another with the Renetti. Dex doesn't have enough time, couldn't get the kill either way, and Nothing But Gunny just, again, like you were saying, looking like a completely different squad here. They hype themselves up, or they're up with 2-0 right now in the search and destroy. Clean movement from Millie, and what discipline from the MCW shots. You love to see it.
I love it when a player just takes their time. They're not engaging for the fights. They may pop out, fire bullets past the player, or, well, they do try and aim for the player, but usually it lands past them. But all they're doing is just biding the time, because now that player you're firing against doesn't want to push the angle. He knows as soon as you push that angle, the upper hand goes to them, because you're peeking around a corner, you don't know where they're going to be. The brilliant work for Millie, and this is why we saw his presence on the hard point, as Millie, speaking about him, 5 spree in hand, and gets the opening frag.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the scoreboards up top are still broken, but if you look on the bottom right, you should get an accurate representation of a player's KD as things slowed down a bit. OleFam trying to find a way into objective. Nothing But Gunny locked in on both. Millie gets that cruise missile. It's only been about 2.5 rounds. Millie looking for the ace, trying to get this finished, but unfortunately cannot. Still got decent protection, but the last two players of OleFam split across the map, and it's just not looking good.
It's very far apart, and they know this, which is why they're trying to create this cross-angle style of play. Unfortunately, Nothing But Gunny is smarter than this. They're not going to walk into those sight lines. They're not going to allow anybody to get past, but I think Rasco might be engaged, find somebody. Nope, Reaper has read that like a book. Down to Rasco, left alive, a 1v4 clutch. Nah, ain't gonna happen here.
Well, at least I still have an opportunity to sound right about the scoreboard being 3-1, but Search and Destroy is, like you were saying, definitely not OleFam's mode, and it's definitely not their map here, as they have really struggled to get their shots off. I mean, it's not looking good. They're down 3-0. No one going positive so far. Has OleFam even gotten a kill? Could we cycle through everyone on OleFam? 0-3, 0-3. 3-3 for Deadly at least, and 0-3. So a bunch of donuts, and then a 3-piece for Deadly. OleFam, you need to drop the donuts and pick up the controller and get back in this one. It is not looking too good.
Well, it just keeps on getting worse. Deadly is going to fall for the OleFam side, and Nothing But Gunny immediately being aggressive in the way they play. And this is the thing. The aggression is working for them as the Cruise drops down onto that B site, and now they've got control of B, and continuously, it's going to be everything but Gunny, because Nothing But Gunny is onto site. They have the bomb down. Rasco left alive, and he is stuck between a rock and a hard wall. There's nothing he can do. Finds one, able to bring his first kill onto the game, but it's Nothing But Gunny.
Wow. I feel a fool. I should have listened to you, Hyper, and I will try to listen better next time. Millie's standing at 7-0. Must be feeling 7 feet tall right now with that MCW. Just absolutely Swiss cheese in this enemy squad and just does not want to go down. Nothing But Gunny, 4-0, looking for a clean finish, as OleFam is just waiting for control to get back to a respawn mode.
Yeah, I think when we get to control, I think it should be easier. Karachi, from my knowledge, is a hit and miss, kind of middle ground type of map, as Millie, again, continues this streak that he has. He's on 8 right now. Make that 9. He is fired up. He's hungry for 10, and he got it. Oh, my, Millie. Millie's the only word to say. He's out here to play.
Millie with Achilles. Killy Millie is what I'm going to start calling him from this point, because that is just scary. You go drop a 10-0 on an S&D. Dex is very, very, very scared, I imagine. Millie lurking with the Michael Myers from the shadows, taking him down. Millie with the Achilles. Dexter needs to go back to their laboratory, as it is match point. Millie just knew they were pushing at a 11-0. Looking for a perfect finish here in the loser semi. Search and Destroy round 5. Going into round 6, looking for that 6-0. My goodness, Hyper. My goodness.
To think I'll cast my mind back to that hard point. At one point, we were genuinely considering, well, I was genuinely considering there was going to be a 100-point club in play. And then, thankfully, Nothing But Gunny found their rhythm, able to come back. But it just seems to be a steamroll. The train's left the station, there's no stops in between, and Nothing But Gunny is going all the way. And already look at this presence. They're going to be right by the bomb site. Deadly able to break the curse.
Finally.
First blood into their favor, but Millie, bomb, not going down yet. Has he got a 6th sense here? There's got to be a 6th sense here, because he knows Rasco's close by.
Millie grabs Deadly, 12-0. Marco looking for the finish on Roscoe. A little co-on-co action, unfortunately, but there's nothing quite kind about either of their companies. It's quite lethal if you want to go that far. Mansions takes out Marskis. Now a 3v2 back in favor of NBG. As Marco keeps bobbing and weaving. Roscoe able to snake their way over and stay alive. But man, I'm hoping Millie just stays alive to keep the KD perfect. But saying it out loud, I probably just jinxed it, Hyper.
You probably have, for sure. But I tell you what, I'm surprised Millie didn't get that bomb down. He had a prime opportunity to do it with the cover
there you go.
of Marco as well. Now he does it, so it just feels a little late, but nonetheless, 2v2 is still in play. Millie ducks away, able to get away in time as Roscoe has pushed around. Going to be the first one to go onto site. but now you need a cover to back you up. Millie into the alley. There's an opportunity. Marco will fall. Now it's down to a 1v2. Millie, you want streak. You want to go perfect to the bitter end.
Ah!
It's not going to happen.
And I ruined it. Oh, Millie, I'm so sorry. Dex with the clutch. Chat, I broke it. I'm sorry. I jinxed it. OleFam got one. They're doing a little shaky cam. The caster curse is real. That's video proof.
Rich, I want you to go out the room and scream. I can't believe you disrupted such something beautiful.
Well, you know me. I always try to destroy something great and incredible in Call of Duty. That's what I bring to the table. 5-1 as we continue here in Search and Destroy. Dexter shutting down Millie on their incredible 12-0 run, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, just absolutely incredible from Millie. Killy Millie, as the papers called them, went on an absolute killing spree, regardless, as we get ready for round 7. OleFam trying to play the spoiler alert for the comeback, but unfortunately do not get the first blood this time around.
No, it's not going to work for them this time, but I can tell you what, they are still going to put up a good fight. Millie able to start to bring things back. Mansion there to back him up, and it's going to be all done and dusted by the
ruined
time
it. I literally jinxed it.
It just happened, and that is a disaster indeed. Whoa, that came quick.
Absolutely. Reaper here with the final kill. Roscoe caught out in the open. Millie was there either way. And the lone death for Millie coming on that fateful round 6. Unfortunately, could not clutch the 1v2. But Millie absolutely carrying their squad with just an insane stat line for Search and Destroy. If we get a look at the AAR summary, I know it's going to be nasty. 13-1, folks. 13-1, a 13.0 KD. No one's even remotely close. When you drop more kills than the entire enemy team combined after 7 rounds of combat, you got something special for Search and Destroy. I can tell you that much.
It is incredible to see.
Someone get me a fan. That's hot.
It is. It's crazy. And it was just the way that this man just remained calm, had the aggression and pressure, able to push himself forward into very horrible situations. But the problem I feel with OleFam is they were allowing NothingButGunny to push themselves into these positions. There were many gaps in their defense, many gaps for when they were attacking, and this allowed NothingButGunny to be in these awkward positions. Look at Millie when on the round that he did die.
Yeah.
He actually positioned himself ready to plant. He had teammates in the crossfire covering him. He could have made that plant way earlier. So everything position-wise was much more favorable for NothingButGunny. And as I said, this is not OleFam's map. So they're not going to go back and review it. This is the last time they're going to properly play it.
Mm-hmm.
So
all I know is I need Killing Millie and then like 11-0 on a t-shirt, and I need it immediately, or 13-1, whichever they prefer. But that was nasty. Hopefully OleFam can bounce back once we go to the respawn, because they need to practice their Search and Destroy something fierce. Their hardpoint is pretty immaculate on 6-star. Their Search and Destroy just abysmal. When you have a player just slaying out and getting more kills than your entire team combined after 7 rounds. And I know I said that before, but I'm going to say it as many times as I need to say it. More kills than the entire enemy team combined after 7 rounds of combat. Something ain't clicking. Something is not clicking, and you need to just sit down, look in the mirror, go play some Search and Destroy, look in the mirror again, and just think about life for a second, and then go back to Search and Destroy to practice it some more. Because my goodness, that was tough to watch. As casters, we try to remain impartial, but that you got your ass handed to you on a silver platter on that Search and Destroy. Pardon my French.
Yeah, it's not even us being impartial. It's fact. That was factually your ass was handed on a silver platter, and it really was. And I would honestly say that this has always been a problem with OleFam. And the fact we've known it's been a problem for so long, and yet they still couldn't correct it, that leads to questions a bit deeper into kind of how they're being coached and things like that. I know they've got a great coaching staff behind them. I think they got Oh, I can't remember the coach.
Hyper just calling out everyone. I was keeping it to the players.
Yo, I'm calling out the coach here because if this is a problem that's being persisted and you're losing on Search and
Touche.
Destroy and large maps every time, you've got to start focusing on it. Yes, your hard point, your controls are brilliant, but you've got to focus on your weaknesses. Yeah, and I know some people will sit here, focus on your strengths, build it up to be the best. But Search and Destroy has 2 rounds in the map polls. 2 rounds! You've got to win those. If it was control, that's fine. If you suck at it, is what it is.
Yeah. If I had to choose which game mode I would be the worst at, it would probably be the control, just because it's the lone one in the middle. But yeah, I have to agree with you there. There's something needs to change, or you're just gonna keep taking those Search and Destroy L's. And I mean, I don't like taking L's as much as the next person, but against squads like this, you're gonna have to step up somewhere, and Search and Destroy should absolutely be the spot, because should this go to a game 5, and should you end up in another Search and Destroy situation, and everyone knows you're bad at Search and Destroy, and you know you're bad at Search and Destroy, and you haven't touched it, it's not gonna end well, plain and simple.
No, it's not. But let's focus on the next map. We're going to
Yes.
Karachi. As you can see on the screens above you, it's going into the control, and I love control Karachi. I know if you'd said this in
I hate
February when I came into this game, I hated Karachi. But this map
I love
just feels
Karachi.
right. It feels right for control, right?
I prefer it for domination, team deathmatch, search, and almost everything but control. Mainly because of that Bravo point in the back of the diner. Is if there's a team who can play it right, and this could just be skill issue, L, molding, cope on my part,
Probably.
it is nigh impossible to break through that defense, and it is incredibly frustrating trying to play against a good defensive team on control as we get shots and kills underway. Dex with the 2, Millie with the 1, and Roscoe and company are right back to it, taking over Alpha with a 3-piece and leading in lives, only going down once. Respawn modes are their bread and butter, as we see here, Hyper.
It really is. You can already see the eyes. The eyes were looking. They're wanting B, and they're actually going to try this split strategy. It's risky, and when you do this, you've got to commit, but they're not actually committing to a full split. They're actually going to the harder site first. They're going to be off the bat. You already have Deadly inside. You have your cover of Dexterities down and by Dumpster, and first tick done. This is a good start and good progression to make it easier for the latter round.
Definitely, and you see that split push coming in again on Alpha. They secure that first progress bar. They got about 50% way through the second one, but Marco was able to disrupt, so you got a progress bar on each. Give yourself a little bit of breathing room, but with this split push mentality, or play style, I should say, NBG has been able to pick them apart and catch up in lives, or at least keep it close. Millie trying to stay up on the burning car in the junkyard. Gets the trophy system down, and somehow not getting hit by bullets, gets the regen. Millie just trying to stay up now, but it's the 2-man push. Not gonna cut it, Millie. Unfortunate there.
Yeah, and that's allowed a lot of time to run down. 30 seconds left on the clock. Millie did a fantastic job at his spawn traps. Realistically, OleFam need to bunch together and they need to commit to the site, but no, they're sticking to this split strategy. Trying to divide and conquer is the way they're looking. Go eventually rotates over to A. 15 seconds left on that clock, and now OleFam have to commit. They have to go all in on a site, and they're looking to go A. Slowly progressing though, but that feed looking good.
That is a huge 3-piece, giving them some breathing room. Millie up top, able to trying to find some cover, trying to find anything, dropping in, throwing nades. Will not be able to save Alpha as they cap it, and a solid job from Rasco here, holding with the 3-piece to boot. Dex grabbing another 16-13 now. Millie cleaning up on the outsides, finally going down, but NBG down by 2. It's going to be a close one towards the finish, I think.
It definitely will. I feel this is going to bring it down to a search and destroy style game. It's 12 and 10 in terms of lives. So no major lives difference, but still 2 lives can be the make and break. As OleFam getting themselves prepped, ready for an execute. Millie there to cause some disruption.
Wow.
There's a 2-piece to say thank you very much. And he has been a disruption throughout this entire series. He's carried the team. He's feeling confident, and already he's looking for more.
Well, yeah, when you're dropping 11 and 5, you look at the rest of the scoreboard, no one's even close. It's really just Millie's game thus far. Granted, the rest of NBG have had some step-up moments, but it's the same on the side of OleFam. Dex doing the heavy lift in there. Another big two-piece for OleFam as they try to rotate over to Bravo, trying to find that opening. Deadly, trying to get there. Grabs Marco, but goes down to Reaper. Last chance, but can't get there in time. Clock's going to run out. And like a firing squad, Nothing But Gunny wipes OleFam off the floor. Beautiful job from NBG right there.
4 ticks off the get-go. That is not a bad start. I
Nope.
would expect it maybe 5 with, especially being Karachi. I do see a bit more progression on B. It is hard, it is difficult, and if you can get that control over Society and back at Cafe, then yeah, you're golden. However, I would have expected maybe 1 more tick, but still 4 good position. Switch sides. Let's see what Nothing But Gunny can do, and I'm curious to see how Millie plays this, because I feel him as a roamer and lurking could be the play that they need to deploy.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Millie's your run and gun, gonna be able to win those gunfights, get those 1v2s, and just go off on a tear and really give you the lives advantage. But sometimes you just got to play as a squad, push in together, and that's what Millie's doing, locking down Alpha so far. Marski's trying to push in, immediately picked up. Millie just so damn clean, precise, and nice with that rival 9. It's staying alive somehow on the 3-piece, and that's what you need to start off on the attack.
Yeah, Millie just feels confident. Okay, I said lurking, but actually Anchor works just as well by himself for a majority of the time. Minute 20 was on the clock. No, it's being contested.
From
and
Deadly.
Millimeter. Deadly
Wow.
denies the extra minutes, and I was going to say that was a job well done. Well done to Deadly, because that was forceful.
That was incredible from Deadly. Saves the objective and the clock time, but a 3-piece in the feed for NBG, and they're able to fully take over the Bravo objective and now take Alpha as well. And again at the last second, it's Roscoe this time to save it, but Millie goes down once again. Alpha still not captured. Bravo gets its first progress bar done, and now you have to worry. OleFam gotta save Alpha or try to get to Bravo in time.
I'm gonna be real, the full control over to Bravo is gonna be the huge point. B is already being taken, and OleFam have not cleared A. Takes a baby step to take it away. So if they can finish it off, which they will, now if you're OleFam, you have to step on point. You've got to deny it. A mistake that might cost them huge, but thankfully someone gets on point, stops the progression of the tick, makes it harder. That could have been catastrophic.
Truly, Dex able to take down Millie. Reaper grabbing 1, but it's not enough. Mansions, though, sneaking onto the hill. Might be able to do it here. Stays alive, and just like that, NBG is up 2-0 in a total shock to us both, I think.
Major shock. Major shock. But I did say at the start, they're hit and miss. Sometimes they can do well, sometimes they don't. But realistically, OleFam on that first round, I feel there's something they can work with, and I wouldn't rule them out just yet. It was only Millie causing that major problem, causing that spawn trap in the first round that allowed them the opportunity, them to deny any more progression onto the B or onto that A site. So, Nothing But Gunny, strong, consistent, going for nearly got A, and then decided, you know what, we'll take B instead. Done to the T. OleFam, what have you got to respond?
We'll find out here and now. This is OleFam's last chance to make a mark on this control matchup. Try to find a way to bounce back. They, quite honestly, fell flat on their faces in the search and destroy, and they're not looking too good here. I mean, if they go to the hard point, they might take it, but then you go right back to search and destroy. So this series, if they don't win this control, is not looking too good for them.
They need to make sure they get this in the bag. Make sure they have another win on the board, because they could close it off in Vista. Otherwise, if you're Nothing But Gunny, well, you're going to be happy and able to move forward. But the split strategy coming into play again. They tried this once before. Deadly was on this exact site. The last time he lost. Now he's going to win for the first part, but he does allow some more time. But complete A is going to go through. Now you can put your full focus and with more lives to go and attack onto B.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think they should have done in the first go around, is like The split push very rarely works, and you got to be able to win your gunfights. And it looks like wherever Dex goes, that's where you're winning your gunfights the most. So it's just pushing together and working as a team, trying to win out these gunfights. Dex takes down Million. That's a big pickup, but Marco's still there, causing problems.
Not anymore. Marco does. Actually, no, Marco did get it done, but he will be traded out later in the feed. Mansion are not able to fend off from the outside. It is a swarm, nothing but gunny. You don't want to allow them to set themselves up. They're nearly ready to set up, and this is where OleFam needs to capitalize on them. Still rotating back to point, and they will. One onto point. Now be Markskis, and the feed starts to turn blue. And now if you OleFam, you've got to position yourself well. 3 onto point as the clock will start to stop, and the progression goes fast. 3 kids stays on point. It's gonna be done and done. And nothing but gunny, nothing they can do.
That was a round much needed for OleFam, locking down the hills together, rotating together, and just working as a squad. Roscoe on the outside, protecting this push, doing a little skeet shooting, taking Mansions out mid-air, and instantly rotating to the next player to fire. You love to see it. Still match point, but OleFam has a chance for the upset.
They do indeed, but you've got to stop a very forceful nothing but gunny on that attack. And you could say that the first round was luck, but I would steer far away from that mindset. I would say nothing but gunny had that round 2 control to the way they needed. However, OleFam looked confident. I love that OleFam play. That looked good. Round 5, I think that's doable.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you can keep your momentum and, follow the play of Deadly or Dex and Roscoe, I should say, you'll be just fine. And unfortunately, the top scoreboards are also broken on Control. I'm hoping for Black Ops 6 this is no longer an issue because it's just a bit confuzzling trying to keep track of everything. But if you go to the bottom right, folks, you'll see the proper KD of your players. As we continue here, Mansion's going to go down to Roscoe. And again, the lead in lives is usually tipped in favor of OleFam, but we'll see if they can maintain it.
It's going to be a hard level to maintain, but look at Marco. Marco getting a brilliant wraparound, and that could be critical. There's a good peekaboo moment, and this diverts 2 of the players' attention. So a little bit of time, but unfortunately nothing but Gunny didn't capitalize on that very brief moment. 27 seconds left on the clock. They're looking north. They keep looking north. But realistically, with no ticks going through and a cruise to help fend it off, this is OleFam's for the taking, and they're looking to be defending next round.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta lock in on defense, especially for Control. It's such a defense-heavy or favorited mode, and you see why. It just you're able to. The onus isn't on you to take the objectives. You just got to set up when your gunfights, rather than focus on an objective. But luckily, NBG able to get there. They're down by about 5 in lives, but lock in on Bravo. We'll see if they can maintain control. Pun intended.
Yeah, they need to make sure they don't get any players around the outside, but Dexterity's trying to shoot in, and this is brilliant work with 2.4 seconds. Nothing but Gunny given a lifeline here. Says thank you very much, and Millie and Macro come alive, and they're trying to escape the site. They're not even trying to hold it, and this momentum, they captured one, then they go straight to the next, and now the progression starts going through. OleFam, they had the lead, they had the advantage going. We thought done and dusted, but here comes nothing but Gunny, and it gets wiped out just before any true momentum starts to go through.
Yeah, exactly. And NBG able to stay alive and might just be able to win it here if they can lock in. It's now 9-6, still winnable. A big 3-piece in the feed, but a tough TK was one of those 3. NBG now just separated by 1 life. There was a 6-kill differential at one point. Reaper goes down. Can Mansions hang on for dear life to save it? They can. That's a 3-piece for NBG, and they do it. What an incredible finish from NBG, clawing their way back in that round and putting this one away, winning 2 in a row, 6-1 and then 3-1 for the S&D and Control respectively, and it's Mansions locking in, doing a little skeet shooting of their own here, getting some vengeance for the mid-air death we saw in the last one, but a solid GG's all around, Hyper.
Oh, solid indeed, and I definitely would say nothing but Gunny have been practicing this. There was a few moments I genuinely that Nothing But Gunny was going to fold, going to end up in the gravel, but no, they just found the grit, and the whole phrase "nothing, don't stop until the clock is done" or the last shot's made or whatever it is, they do not stop until the final whistle is blown, and they won it. They won it convincingly as well, even when I honestly thought that OleFam had this map in the bag.
Yeah, I think we all thought they were going to bounce back, and I really thought they had a chance to, obviously, but I mean, just an incredible team effort all around from Nothing But Gunny, and we saw, despite the KD differentials this time around, we saw who played the mode a bit better, and that obviously goes to Nothing But Gunny as they take a surprising 2-1 lead in this series. So my score might be right, but it may be the wrong team winning in my prediction as Nothing But Gunny continues to dominate here. Going back to the hard point, though.
Wow.
Should be interesting either way.
If going back to a hard point, and immediately the first thing I would always say is hard point has always been OleFam's bread and butter, and now we're going on to Vista, not necessarily their strongest map, but it is definitely up there. It's probably like second, third. I think Rio is another map to thrive on. They know how to lock it down. So yeah, I'd probably put third for OleFam. So this is a chance to bring it to that critical map 5 if they able to lock down, able to keep themselves focused, and just make sure that their rotations are on point, because with Vista, rotation pathways really center around P1. If you're able to control those avenues, you're forcing players to go much wider, take longer times, and you're good in from there.
Find your timing, find your pacing, find your confidence, really. Once you are able to like sort of gain that momentum, it's for lack of a better term, it's like a ball rolling down a hill, or a snowball rolling down a mountain. You just collecting momentum, building speed, building power, building impact. And it's going to be really tough for OleFam to stop them, but they won the hard point on the 6-star. We're going to Vista, somewhat similar map, but it does thankfully have 5 points. But the P5 to P1 rotation, if I remember correctly, is one of the shortest rotations in this game. For for point rotations, period. So you could combo them as one together. If you own the P5, you should be able to own the P1 relatively simply or easily enough. So it's really do or die time, or we could see a bit of an upset.
You could. I really 100% agree that that rotation point is about what 5-6 steps away, and bang, you're done.
Honestly,
however, one thing I will say about some of these rotations is it's very left side dominated map. You are starting at the midpoint, and you go down south to Snacks, and then you go all the way up to the north left, where you're up by the bar and art. And then you come back down to the stage and inside that area, and then you go back to central again, and the whole right side of the map is not touched. And I don't want to diss on the map because it is a fantastic hard point, but what's the point of having the right side of the map if you're not going to use it? And also having a point on both the bridge and down low for P5, not my cup of tea. But this is where as I said, rotation is important because you are actually more confined than you actually think.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's going to be a fun map either way. Vista is one of my favorite new additions to the comp scene in this game, and it brings that vibrancy, brighter pastel colors other than the beiges and browns that we are so accustomed to for the first iteration. I mean, I cannot tell you how many matches I've casted where the first 3 maps were Invasion or Karachi, or just all of one map. Like Skid Row is pretty interesting just because it's a cityscape and offers a bit of difference between the 2 maps, but still, it's just, I'm happy we added some brighter, some new looking maps that are still fun and interesting to play. Granted, I think the Call of Duty scene gets a little angry with maps sometimes, and I'm hoping let's just get into the matchup before I'm just gonna hop off my soapbox, Hyper.
Yeah, let's definitely get onto this map and off to the races these fine gentlemen go. And immediately off to the P1 they will go. It's going to be OleFam getting that early advantage, early points going in as the bloodbath will endue. First blood, OleFam as well. And that, pretty convincing start in terms of positioning.
Yeah, but it's Marco to win out the day, at least to get on there, and the drop shot as they will get their own first couple of points on the board. And a 4-piece squad wipe for NBG. And again, this team looks completely different from that first hard point as they now take control on the P1. But we saw them take control on the P1 in the early goings of that one and unfortunately lost out by about 80 points.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to point out, OleFam looking for that second point, looking at Snacks. They had a very wide stance in terms of their positioning, but immediately taken away. So now you're down to push into an unknown. They didn't have control before, and they will win that 1v1. Control going into favor for OleFam, and now if you're OleFam, you need to bring those reinforcements in quick and fast because Marco's there, Mansion's there, and the control flipping back to NBG.
Just incredible plays thus far from NBG as they take a 40-point lead off the rip, are in firm control of the hill. Mansion's a little bit too exposed up top there, but they still maintain control. Reaper with the double, just owning the hill so far. As Marco and Millie combine for a solid couple of kills. This is all NBG so far. I don't know what's going on with OleFam, but they need to lock the bleep in.
They really do need to lock it in, but finally 3 people going to contest on to P2, only for the remaining scraps though. So a heavy investment for something that isn't going to give you a great reward. They should have been in the position where Rasco is, where he is looking for that next rotation. It's not going to work out because Mansion finds 2, lines them up beautifully. And that's the problem. You went for greed instead of looking ahead.
And it's going to really come back to bite them, I think. So they're now down by 50, almost down by that full hill pointage we were talking about. And it's just not a pretty sight. Mansion's going down to deadly as they try to break even and go positive. OleFam, though, struggling to combo kills like we saw in the first hard point as NBG continues to go positive. Deadly on the outside trying to get some breathing room as they finally get some control onto the hill, but Marco clearing house, Roscoe grabbing another. They contest, but again, fighting for scraps here.
Marco has been the kind of quiet player. If this was round 1, I would have said Marco was nowhere near up to standards. The stats, everything that was reading for Marco was not looking good. But as time's gone on, like a fine wine, he's just brewed into something so valuable for the team. He's not a Millie. He's not someone who's going to be popping off, but he's just there and supporting and backing up the team where he needs to be. So we're seeing Marco come alive, and this is more like the NothingButGunny that people are expecting. However,
Go ahead.
I'm gone.
Oh, the MM connection, baby. An unfortunate T kill on Millie from Reaper, but Millie, Marco, Mansions, triple M all the way. Reaper coming in for the TK just to add a little fun to it, because why not? As NothingButGunny continues to slay out and now finding OleFam close to the 100-point club. Deadly again. OleFam fighting for scraps. Cannot find a break here as, again, NBG just slaying out as Deadly is the first player to get to 30-plus seconds of hill time. Next one close is Dex sitting at 11. It is not looking too pretty at all.
It's the rotations. The more I look at it, the more I see how OleFam moves. They're not moving correctly. They're still focused and caught up in trying to catch NothingButGunny during their crossover. This is, if you want to catch people out during the crossover and during that rotation, you've got to be doing this at 15. You've got to have players positioned there. Once you hit 10 and 5, you should have your whole team prepped and ready, bar one who might be picking up that scraps, but your rest of the team have got to be on the next. And OleFam aren't doing that. This is why they're near 100 points behind. Because NothingButGunny, they will sacrifice the site. They know not to fight, and they force their whole team to stick together, have maybe 1 or 2 lurkers out to the side to be able to capture any of the rotations from OleFam. And they're doing it to the T, and I would even nearly say to perfection.
Yeah, and they take over P5 right towards the very end, but the P1 rotation is right there, and they're already on it. A 2-piece to open it up as we get to our second round of rotations. NothingButGunny now officially entering the 100-point club as OleFam continues to struggle here after their poor performance in the search and destroy. Millie trying to stay up, but it's a blue wave coming through. Marco staying up with Mansions as they try to maintain control of the hill. Roscoe gets in there for a second, but it's nades, it's gunnies, it's absolute pandemonium on the P1 as NBG maintains the control of the 100-point club, and they are bouncing OleFam out of the club like they are too drunk on a 21st birthday.
Tell you what, the 100-point club is not as fancy as it sounds. It's full of rotten food. Everything's gone off. The wine is cheap as hell. Trust me, you do not want that membership. Get that revoked. And that's all in OleFam's mind, is getting that membership revoked first before they can start that miracle comeback. But it is, as I say, a miracle at this point of time, because nothing that OleFam is throwing at NBG is working. It all seems to be NGB's progress, and even when they have a 1v1, still fails. NBG are sitting happy, and they continue through the 200 points.
Continue to the 200 points. You'll love to hear it as we continue here. Underway, 200 point club has been achieved quite early into the second rotation, as it's just absolute dominance from NBG, but a solid 3-piece from OleFam as they start to awaken here in the second rotation, taking control of this P2. But can they maintain control, and not just for the scrap? You get 2 on for NBG and they take over, and just like that, unfortunately, they get taken off. Another 3-piece for OleFam, but again, now fighting for scrap. You're still down by over 100, and NBG is already rotated on to next and are prepping for the rotations.
Yeah, OleFam was killed off, so there's nothing they can do in terms of spawn. So spawn far to the right. But look at Marco. Marco gonna find one. Yes, he is. He's gonna have that little engagement. It's gonna allow a great opening, a great opportunity for NBG to lock down the site. Mansion finding 2. Marco finding another, and now it's just Hail Marys. They're throwing bodies at this point in time. No coordination from them. They are just finding a way to get onto point, but Mansion is locking this down. And even if you take him off, someone's there to pick up the scraps and keep it going. 20 seconds.
Yeah, this might do it here. OleFam may not even crack into triple digits as they try to get there. Marco still holding on hill. Roscoe gets 1. Dex gets another. But again, look at this. They're fighting for less than 20 seconds. So you get all that effort for such little pointage. They should be able to break into triple digits thanks to Dex, but you're down 137 with NothingButGunny knocking on the door of a W for these losers semis to punch their ticket to losers finals. It could be all over here on the P4 as they're already on the rotation. Now they try to get out of here. Marski's dropped to 6 HP, trying to stay alive. Mansions peeking out and dropping bodies left, right, and center. And just like that, NBG is nothing but winning here tonight, Hyper.
They really are. A very hiccupy first map onto 6-star. Yes, they were playing on what is OleFam's best map and mode, and the one they have the highest win percentage of. But as soon as they came to everything else, it's almost like the light switch got turned on, the pot of coffee filled them with energy, and they went and took control. And NothingButGunny, that's the control you want to see, and especially in this loser bracket run, they're moving on, and OleFam, well, they're going home, and their time in MW.
That is unfortunate, to say the least, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, folks. Unfortunately, after that first search and destroy matchup, you drop a 6-1. You get a 6-1 dropped on your heads, and their just mentality was never the same. Even in the hard point, being completely flipped on their heads. It's just unfortunate. A big congratulations to Nothing But Gunny. I apologize for doubting you. The scoreboard was the right prediction, but I picked the wrong team. I was doubting you from the second I got on stream, and y'all made me eat my words. So apologies. I was dead wrong, and I can admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you got it right in terms of the 3-1 scoreline. I honestly thought OleFam would pull something up a bit more, but you're right.
No, I saw the chat. It looks like the Monty Cam got to him. It got to me. Sorry. Go ahead, Hyper.
Yeah. You know what? You're not wrong on that. And it really was. I was expecting a bit.
The little break in between might have iced their momentum a bit, but
for
who's
sure.
to say?
As a great F1 driver said, if my mom had balls, she would be my dad. Right? You just don't know.
Wild statement, both in and out of context, and a solid GG's. Either way to both teams. An incredible game. Happy to be back in the caster booth, and I was happy to be joined by Hyper. I don't know if we've casted together before.
Not. This has definitely been the first time we've worked together, and I've casted with quite a few of the Call of Duty guys now. So I don't know how we've never crossed.
Well, you're always with your duo, so I gotta respect it. But I'm happy I was able to sneak in for a little bit.
And I'm always open to work with new people, get to know them, and create those lovely bonds for later on. And yes, now I know what happened in the 1700s. So shush.
Yeah, amen. You got to know your world history. You
gotta know it.
For when a country stands up for itself against a tyrannical oppressor. Either way, a solid GG's once again to both teams. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Hyper, do you have anything else to add before we sign off?
Oh, I've got to say, I'm looking forward to the losers final, which is a gracious thing. Me and my co Scav will be covering is the losers final. I think you've got the winners final and the grand final under your name. I would look forward to seeing how that turns out. But in terms of this side, thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure to be on the ZGL.
Indubitably. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. My name has been Big Rich X. Well, my name is Big Rich X, not has been. Even though I am a bit of a has-been, I guess, but I'm not going to start self-deprecating just yet. My name is Big Rich X. I am joined by the Hyperactive here tonight. We look forward to seeing you here tomorrow for more intense Call of Duty action. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye.